thanks for watching the Chickpea channel. Trisha here, and behind the camera, as usual, is David from Living Tech. Tonight I'm going to be making mushroom black bean burgers. They are easy, fast, and I think you'll love them. So the first thing that I'm going to do is prepare the aromatics, which are the things you put into the frying pan in the oil. I'm going to be using 1 onion, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to turn on the frying pan so that it's warm when these go in. I'm going to turn it on medium-high. With some oil, just a bit of oil. I haven't done garlic on here with you before. There's different ways of doing it. What I do is I just cut off both ends, and as I cut, I hold the knife down and it peels a strip off, and then you can just skin it from there. There is a debate among home chefs, maybe not among professionals, as to whether it's okay to just use a garlic press instead of chopping into little pieces. But if you want to just have simple cooking and get it done more quickly, use the press. That's what I always do. I don't think it makes enough of a difference for home cooking that you should spend the extra time chopping the little thing. So I just put it into a garlic press. So actually I could fit them all 3 in there. 3 garlic cloves for this. And I mean, normally I would just do it over the pan, but I'm showing you, so I'm just gonna squish it into the onions. Inside, that's just garbage. Just throw that part out. I'm just gonna cook these for, fry these for a couple minutes until they start to look a little bit see-through. Okay, so while those are cooking, I'm gonna take the mushrooms. I'm gonna use portobello mushrooms. You can use any mushrooms. I prefer portobello or cremini. I find them a heavier taste. You can use, I've seen it with button mushrooms are a hassle because they're small. You have to clean them all. But you could use those. You could use white mushrooms. You could use oyster mushrooms. Those might be like a little chewy. Anyway, I'm going to use portobello. And I'm going to use my knife that I can rock. I cheated and I bought these already sliced. You can do that. All it takes is a little damp paper towel and you wipe the dirt off. So I did that ahead too. If you get a full portobello, you do the same thing on the top, wipe with a damp, not wet, paper towel. And then ideally, I mean, they didn't do it with these. Ideally, you would just take a little spoon and take the ribs out, take the stem off, and then start chopping. I'm gonna just, for the sake of time, I'm going to just use them this way. Okay, so you want these pretty fine. Right, so now I'm going to add the mushrooms to the garlic and onions. I also want to add 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Just use my finger bowl, cloth. And in case you didn't notice, this is the wet, it's a wet bar towel, so this doesn't slip. Okay, so now here's my burger bowl. And I will start with, I'm going to do the 1, 2, 3 again, count through it so that it's easier to remember. 1 cup of breadcrumbs, 1. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, there it is again. 'Now I'm done counting. Just put a whole can of beans in. There you go. I did this ahead if you were watching the other video I did on bell peppers and you don't know about working with beans. The reason they're in a colander, just got to make sure that you rinse them, get the bubbles off when you're pouring water into the colander. You see bubbles around the edge, get the bubbles gone so you don't have digestive problems with the beans afterwards. check on the mushroom mixture right now. Looks good. See the mushrooms have changed color? It's really good. So I'm going to use it like that. Mushroom mixture is done. I'm going to wait for it to cool a bit because the next thing is I'm going to mix it with the beans and mash it, and I don't want to burn myself. So I'm just going to wait for it to cool a little bit. Meanwhile, I know that I'm going to cook a couple of these for dinner tonight, and what I'm going to be doing is toasting whole grain burger rolls from frozen. So you don't have to worry about buying them and, oh, I'm only making burgers once and I'm only going to use 4 out of 8. They freeze. Just take them from the freezer and put them in the toaster. So that's what I'm going to do is toast a couple of those. And I'm going to have mixed salad greens with some white balsamic dressing. In a flash video, I showed you how to do balsamic dressing like that. And then I'm going to coat the both sides of the burger with pesto. Okay? Okay, I added the mushroom and onion mix, cooled a little bit to the beans and everything. Mix them up, and now I am mashing them. I don't want to put them in the food processor because I think it'll get too gooey. This way you have a chance with leaving the beans partially, some of them intact, of the burger holding together, not squishing out of your bun as much. It's not just these burgers that are like that. So don't not make these because of that. It's just the fact of them being homemade like this. So a couple of solutions before you make them. If you find that they're really not holding together, if they're too dry, you have to add something like oil or something. If they're too wet, try some more breadcrumbs, and or put them in the fridge for half an hour and see if that works. 3 things that you can do with these when you're done. So if you did them because you had a whole bunch of extra time, you could just put them in patties, separate them with parchment paper or wax paper, and put them into a freezer bag and freeze them for later. In that case, when you want to use them from frozen, just thaw them in the morning. If you think of it, you can cook them in the fry pan the whole time. It just takes a lot longer and harder to time. But if you thaw them in the fridge, then it's the same as what I'm going to tell you for frying, which is 4 to 5 minutes aside. You're basically looking for some sort of golden color on each side and for it to be cooked through. You can also bake them, 350 for about 10 minutes, but test them, and you might want to flip them halfway through. So those are the options for this. I'm pretty happy with that texture. It has some pieces of, not too many whole beans, but like skins with some stuff left in them. And when I try to make it into a ball, it sticks. If I put it in the fridge, it would stick less to my hands, but I just want to get it done. So I'm going to make a couple of patties to cook, and I'll get them on the stove at medium-high, 4 minutes aside from freshly made like this. And then the leftover patties, I will freeze them for another time. I reused my plastic bags. This is not flat leaf parsley. I reused it. Save the planet. I just washed them and use them again. Okay, so just like old patties when you were a kid, if you're not still a kid, just layer them so they don't stick together. Ready for the freezer. So I changed my mind on how long to cook on each side just based on checking how it was cooking. I had it on medium-high and it just wasn't getting brown, so I ended up cooking first side 7 minutes and the second side I'm going to do 5 just to get a nice finish on it. But it will have been cooked through already, probably 7 minutes, because I'm cooking it right from when I prepared it. Now it's on the second side. I'm going to put down the toaster on my frozen whole grain hamburger rolls. You don't have to use frozen, but I just find I can have burgers whenever I want if they're pre-frozen. Also, this is just lettuce from mix from the store. This is the way, it doesn't look fancy. It would look nicer in a silver bowl if I just mix it up this way, but this is easier. I just put it in here with, this is some white balsamic dressing, which I did a video on. Very easy. We're not going to mix it yet because I don't want anything to get soggy. That's going to go in there. And then I'm going to swipe the bun with this, which is some pesto. And then I will show you the final result. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and sign up for notifications too while you're at it. Thank you.